Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sudokuvania. Last time we got this 8, which, if you watched the last video, it might surprise you to know I understand this deduction means that this is a 1. Let's see. Now there's a 1 over, I guess this extends that far, huh? Oh, but the 1 doesn't go on the line is the point, because this extends up there and over there. This is the between line with 1 and 6 as its ends. So the 1, in fact, is not here by Sudoku, and so it's just there. Okay, this is either 2, 6 or 3, 5, but you can never put the 6 there, so that one's not a 2. Do you know one of these two is a 2? Yeah, one of these two is a 2. In fact, actually, that makes this one a 3 or a 5, because it's next to a 2 or a 4, apparently. And this is a, therefore, 3, 4, or 5, which actually gives me the full quadruple in the row. So these are 6, 7, and 9. These 2 is 4. This is 7 or 9, of course, by virtue of being on a white dot with an 8. Okay, these two need to add to 8. So this one's never a... Sorry, need to add to 7. So this one's never a 5, actually. It's not super helpful immediately. Yeah, so one side is 3, 4, and one side is 2, 5. I just don't know which is which. Oh, I guess that has told me the 5 is up here, right? So that's never a 5 anymore. This arrow can't be 3, 5, because that would put 3, 3, 4, 5s in the box. Sorry, it would put 4, 3, 4, 5s in the box. So in fact, this has to be 6 and 2. Oh, in fact, the easier way to do that was to note that this was also a 3, 4, or 5. Well, it was a 2, 3, 4, or 5, and notice this, but now it's a 3, 4, 5, right? So that is a 7 and a 6, which now puts a 6 over here. This number is less than 6. If this is a line I'm supposed to recognize, I can't quite make it out. I think this is, yeah, this is like an arrow intersecting with a little white dot. So this number is at most 5. Okay, so this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a, it's not a 1. So it's a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. However, I really can't make out. This is like, these two are on an arrow together, I think. If I try and squint and make out what I can see there. But then this is also on an arrow. But because these two are on an arrow, this one can't be larger than 3. So this one can't be as large as 5, which means that one can't be as large as 4. This seems to be a 2, 3, 4, 5 in the row. No, something is wrong here, because now these are at least 6 and 7. Yeah, I think I've somehow gotten overly ambitious here with thinking about what I understand about this line. Maybe this line is some other kind of line. I don't know. Okay, this is not a 6 anymore. There's 7, 8, 9. Okay, well, if those are 7, 8, 9, that certainly means the line does that. I don't understand how these two aren't both on an arrow. Like, that looks clear to me that these are both on an arrow. Maybe two, like, things. Maybe what I said was all correct, actually? It looks to me like all three of these are on an arrow. Yeah, but this can't be 2, 3, 4, 5, because if this is 2, 3, 4, 5, then these two are now all a minimum of 6 and 7, which is way too large, right? So this has to be a 6, but then I don't understand. Oh, this could be a length 1 arrow. I wasn't appreciating it could be a length 1 arrow. Sorry, it's just a length 1 arrow is what's going on. Which seems to have made that a 5. This can't be a length 1 arrow because it's horizontal is the point. I see. Okay, these are 3, 4, and 5. Oh, it's not 5. Okay, this one is a minimum of 3. This one is therefore, because this one's a minimum of 3, this one's a maximum of 6, and it's not 1, 5, or 6, so it's 2, 3, 4 only, which in particular seems to make that a 5, because this is a 2, 3, 4 triple. Seems to sort out that this is a 3 and a 4, this is a 2 and a 5, that's a 4. This is a 2. And this number can't be 3 or 4 anymore, so it can only be a 7, making that a 9. Okay, that all sort of fell apart nicely. These aren't 4. These two. One of them's a 2. No, it's not a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are an 8, 9 pair. Okay, everything's good. Yep. Am I supposed to say this is definitely the 4 because this 9 cuts this way? Yeah, assuming that the arrows don't share cells, I think this is just a 4 to make this 9 arrow work. Makes that not a 4. There's almost no way to make it in as fog Sudoku so you're not like spending some of the amount of time guessing what the rules are about like whether or not a deduction is intended, because the setter's just never going to think of all the things that you might or might not have as bizarre thoughts about these things. Let's see. This is a 2, 3, 4, or 5 because it's on the line, I see. This line piece can get eliminated. Okay, so that makes this a 2 or 3. Oh, sorry, it's only a 3, actually. It's just a naked 3. This is a 2, 3, not a 4. It could be a 5. That 3, though, sorts out the 5 and the 3 down there. 5 sorts out the 3 and the 5 down there. Entering another grid. As if interconnected ballrooms is filled with music, you cannot help but move to the beat and realize it's a negative constraint. Place a digit from 1 to 9 at each cell without digits repeating in a row, column, or 3x3 box, and then there's a negative XV. Values in orthogonally adjacent cells must not sum to 5 or 10. Okay, yeah, these are 2, 3. Right, because there's already a 1 in this box. Let's see, I'll do my usual 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just so that I can understand what's going on with this. I'm actually going to do this one in blue because I see the grid below it is in pink. And so I'd like it to be completely distinctive from the ones that are nearby. P.S. Big thank you to whoever it was in the comments that suggested using borders of non-black borders to prevent catastrophes. Yeah, so these two are a minimum of 5, so they need to be 2, 3. This one can't be a 9 because it's next to a 1. Neither of those are 7 or 8. I don't know quite what to do with that. I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually. Oh, this one is also a 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's on the line still. However, it's not a 2 or a 3 because then these would add to 5 and there would be a V between them, which there's not. And it's not a 5, so this is a 4. So this is a 2, 3. Okay, this is going up here, so this is a 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that 2, 3 pair actually looks down at this and makes that a 4 or a 5. Oh, and this isn't a 4 because this is still in the negative. Oh, but this is the hot room? This is the hot room, right. Sorry, okay, so I don't have to worry about the negative constraint here, but I do have to worry about it here. Right, because these two are both hot, so they both count as having value 1 higher. So they therefore can't be 1 and 2, because those would be 2 plus 3 is 5. So this is a 3, if I understand the implications of that correctly. Good, good, good. Okay, so that's 2 and 3 and 2. But this one I don't have to worry about. Wait, why did that say it can't be 2? Oh, sorry, it's just saying it can't be 3. Sorry, I was thinking it can't be 2, but no, it can't be 3, because this is also a 3 in that grid. So one of these two is a 3. The 1 can't go next to the 4, so the 1 goes there. And now we've got a boss cell. Here we have a boss puzzle, Fantasy Footwork. You explore the opulent ballroom under the negative constraint of its eerie chamber music. Follow the sound of a speaking voice cutting through the music. You come upon a playing orchestra, and nearby, a tall woman in a dark red dress. She's giving commands to several servants who are in the process of setting up tables and decorations. You fight the music and try to remain still, but make a step that is offbeat and the orchestra abruptly stops. The woman turns to address you. Ah, hello. This must be the mischief maker who's been traipsing through our castle. Fool! You cannot stop my master's plans. The ritual will be carried out at the appointed time. This is merely the celebration. As she walks away, she directs the orchestra to begin playing again. You steel yourself against their constraining music. And a 1, and a 2, and... Okay, so we've got Sudoku, we've got Anti-XV, Adjacent cells cannot sum to 5 or 10. Sorry, adjacent digits can't sum to 5 or 10. And then we've got our Renban lines, or someone commenter was really upset I did not say it Renban lines. That sounds... Renban doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? It sounds kind of unhygienic. We're going to go with Renban, sorry to the commenter. So if you got these indicate the covered cells contain a consecutive set of digits, but they can be arranged in any order. Thin loop and footprints give you your Renban line. Okay, and then wall climb arrows. So our usual, this digit is the sum of those. Okay. So I guess I know this digit is not a 4. So this digit is not a 5. So this is a 6, 7, 8, or 9. In order to make it so that these don't sum to that. In fact, actually, this Renban doesn't have a 4 on it anywhere, because not a single one of these cells can be a 4. So they're all from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In fact, none of them could be a 9 either, because 9 and 1 can't touch. So they are 5, 6, 7, 8. This one's not 8, because that would make this digit a second 1. This digit, as it stands, is at most 4, making this digit at least 7. It's a 7, 8, or 9. This digit is certainly large because it's a sum of 3 digits, which makes these at most 6. And we know there's 2, 1, 2, 3. So there's 2, 1, 2, 3s in here at least. Neither of these digits can be a 3. Yeah, I'm certainly not getting larger than 7 along this line. Just based on the fact that it's got a 2, 3, or 4 on it. So if it had a 4, it'd have to go 5, 6, 7 to even get to a 7. This one's not a 1 or a 2. This Renban definitely can't have a 1 on it, because if it had a 1 on it, it would have a 1, 2, and 3 on it, and it can't have whatever number adds to 10 with this number on it. So we can restrict 1 from there. If it does have a 2, that digit has to be a 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's always a 4 and a 5 on this, is the consequence of that. Whatever that is worth. If this Renban has a 1 on it, this is a 5 or a 6, which is pretty hard to do, but I think, unfortunately, not completely impossible. Okay, can I rule out anything? Like this being a 6. This being a 6 doesn't work for the following bizarre reason. If this is a 6, then there's definitely a 1 or a 2 here, and in both cases, there's a 4 along the side somewhere, and that breaks the anti-XV. So this is never a 6. Funnily enough, 4 is the same way. If I put a 4 here, well, if I put a 4 here, things break very quickly, because if this is a 4, this digit now has to be bigger than 4, because I can't put 1, 2, 3 on here either. And now that makes these two already sum to 9. This has to be like 0. So this is never a 4. If this is a 5, it makes this 1, 2, 3. And the 2, 3 would have to be over here. With a 1, 4 over here. May be acceptable. this is a 3, then this number is already at least 4 because of the Renbon, which would have to go 3, 4, 2, making that a 9. And that a 9 for that matter, but I don't think that's that interesting. If this number is a 6, 7, or 8, it needs to show up on the Renbon in one of those two places, which then means that if it shows up on this Renbon, it needs to show up in one of those two places, which gets a little iffy, but not necessarily. The 3 in this box assuredly isn't going in any of these cells. So if there's a 3 on this, then the 3 ends up on here, and this ends up being 3, 4, 5, which all seems fine. Oh, this just can't be 7. Let's start with that. If this digit is 7, I'm not allowed to put a 3 around the ring, but now I can't put a 3 or a 7 around the ring, which is not so good. So this is only 8 or 9, actually. If this is a 4, 5, or 6, then these both have to be from 1, 2, 3, just by arrow math, but I don't know that that's super restrictive. Let's see. The middle one's a 3. Neither of these can be a 2, so the 3 would have to go with a 1 immediately below it. If that's a 3, I mean. So that would be 3, that would be 2, and 1. And then these would be 4, 5. So the point that somehow this being a 2, 3, 4 arrow doesn't work, I feel like there was some universe that forced this to be a 2, 3, 4 arrow. It was if this was a 3. No, this can just be a 5 or 6 if this is a 3. Because we could go 3, 4, 2, 9. Doesn't seem to interact with that digit directly. I rule out that these are 1, 2, 3, probably. Well, if these are 1, 2, 3, yeah, these can't be 1, 2, 3, because the 2 and 3 would have to be separated. And then that would be a 1 in the middle, but now there's a 2, 3 that's not on a Renbon with a 1. So I can certainly rule out that this is a 6. With 7, it works the same way, except now it's 1 and 4 I have to separate, with a 2 in the middle. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that would be okay as long as this were the 2 and that were the 1. And now we've got... Yeah, that would... Actually, it'd be okay either way. That would just have to be the 2 with the 1, 4 sort of spread on either side. Is there given 2? Like, I keep trying to make it do something. And, like, it does mean, like, the 1 in this box doesn't go down here. The annoying thing is I could even put both 4 and 6 along this. Do I know this isn't an 8? So I see that, like, one thing this being a 2 does is say neither of these are 8. If this are 8, do things break horribly for some reason? It'd be 8, 1, 9. It does break in the most horrible way possible, but it's true. Because if this is 8, 1, 9, that's also an 8. Right? There's no... I guess... Okay, here's a real deduction. 1 is not on this arrow shaft, because if it is, then that digit's also on it. So the 1 in this box is in one of these cells. There's the first real deduction of the puzzle. And that is a way, I suppose, of saying that 8 is not here. And so there's no 8 on this. So these digits are only from 1 through 7. Of course, these aren't 2 or 3. 7 to 9 looks okay to me, though. Yeah, if this is 3, then these are going to be 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess there's always a 4. Oh, there's always a 4 on it. Okay, that gets me something. There's always a 4 on this Renbon now, because there's no 8. It's from 1 through 7. There always needs a 4, so therefore there's never a 1 in the middle. Okay, the world's tiniest deduction, but we've got there. If I could prove this can't be 1 now, then I would know what the arrow was, because now this is the only spot on the arrow that can possibly be a 1. Oh, this could just never be a 1, because if this is a 1, remember I need to put both 2 and 3 around this Renbon, and neither of them can go there. So if there's both a 2 and a 3 in this Renbon, they always go there and there. So in particular, this is never a 1. So now this is a 2, 3, 4 arrow. And if it's a 2, 3, 4 arrow, the 2 and 3 better not go next to each other, so that's a 4. Okay, now there's a 2, 3 in the middle. So that means there's no 1 or 2 or 3 on this Renbon. And there's not a second 4 either. So now these are 5, 6, 7 for sure. Which means there's a 7 in here, so this isn't a 3, it's a 2. Which makes that a 3. This is a 9, by the way. That was the whole joke about this thing. Okay, so that's not an 8. That places the 1 there. Okay, this is not 2, 3, 4. These aren't 3 anymore, because there's already a 3 on the Renbon. There's no 7 on this Renbon either, because 7's too far away from 3. Do I know for sure there's a 5 on it? Yes. Even if it goes... Because it doesn't go down to 1. We already argued for some reason. Yeah, it didn't go down to 1 because of this. Even if it goes down to 2, it still goes up to 5. So one of these is always a 5. One of these two is always a 4, although that I don't think does very much. There is a 2 up over here. Okay, this being a 5, 6, 7, looking at a 6, 7, 8 is actually quite interesting, because it means this digit is at least 2. Sorry, this digit is at least 2, and in fact at least 3, but it's also at most 3, because it can't possibly be 4. Even actually mathematically it can't be 4. I was going to use the negative constraint, but this just is a 3 with a 5 and an 8. So that's not a 5, and that makes this... not a 5. Sorry, 6 up here. Like, that makes that a 5, right? No. Makes this a 7. Okay, everything's right so far. Good, good. Okay, this is not a 7 or an 8. We do know there is an 8, right? There's no additional 7 on this Renbon, but there is an 8. So it's there, which makes that a 9. Okay, this is even, so this has to be odd. Okay, that makes that a 5. Oops. So one of these two is a 4. We're either doing 2, 4 or 4, 6, both of which happen to work. I continue, by the way, my biggest complaint about this so far is just that the backgrounds are too dark. It's really hard to read like these pencil marks on things like these feet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah. So this is a naked 4, apparently. Yeah, it is. Okay, so these are a 2, 6. Except 6 can't go next to 4, so that's a 2 and a 6. And that 2 looks up there, which makes that a 4 and a 6, which makes that a 7 and a 6. Okay, so now these are either 7, 8, 9, or they're 3, 4, 5. Maybe I'll know if I fill in this column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So yeah, so these can't be 7, 8, 9 because these would be double 1. So these have to be 3, 4, 5. Which makes these 1, 7, 8, 9. Oops, I don't know why I put a 7 in there. Or sorry, a 4 in there. 7, 8, 9. There we go. Okay, the 8 definitely doesn't go next to the 2. So the 8 is over here, which makes that not the 8. This can't be a 1 next to a 1, 9. See, there's a 2 in one of these two cells because you can't put a 2 next to an 8. I'm not 100% sure it's possible to set a good anti-XV puzzle. I tried very hard the other day, and then I tried to set just like an anti-black dot puzzle, and I also did not really succeed. And as cool as the idea is, I don't think I've ever done a good puzzle with that rule set, and as cool as a handful of the steps in this puzzle have been, it's definitely not going to be the counterexample or whatever. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So these aren't 3, 7, so therefore this isn't 2. And this isn't 2 either, because this is next to 8, so that is 2, which makes that a 2. Okay, so this row, oh, I was going to say needs a 3. This row also needs an 8, and the 8's not going on this side, so the 8's going over here somewhere, which means I've got an 8 going over here somewhere. Not in a column with an 8, apparently. See, this row has a 1, or sorry, needs a 1. We've got a 2, 3. We need a 4. We've got a 6, 7. We need an 8. Oh, and I skipped a 5 for some random reason. We need one of those too. Yeah, one of these two over here is a 4. That one's not an 8, as previously discussed. Don't see a lot of free stuff here. I was going to say that one's not a 1, but that turns out to not be interesting. Okay, let's just fill in this column. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's not a 2. That one's not a 5. Okay, there were no surprise. This helps. I know one of these two's a 6, but I already have the 4 in the column, so that's not so useful. Yeah, the only thing I have to be sure of in this box, I think, is that 3 and 7 don't go next to each other. Doesn't seem so interesting. I know one of these two's a 2. There's a 4 down here somewhere. So 1 down here somewhere. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is what's left. It's not an 8. This one's not an 8 either. These two is a 6. I don't think that does much. This one's not a 6 because it's next to a 4, you see. So that's a 1 or a 9. So this one's not a 1 or a 9. There we go. That's the kind of thing that you hope to see. 3, 4, 8, and 9. Okay. Not 3, 6, or 7. Not 3 or 7. Can't be 9 going next to a 1, 9. Can't be 3 going next to a 2. Not a lot going on there. About up here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3. Those aren't 2 or 9. The 2 is in one of these 3 cells, which means that's not an 8. It's not an 8. There is a 3. No, the 3 could be there. Okay, these are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This one's not a 2 or a 7 because it's next to that. Still seems... Oh, this 3, 7 is next to a 2. How about I fill in that as a 7, not a 3? There we go. That'll be better. So that 3 puts that 2 up there. So that 2 goes there, which now makes that not a 3. Okay, much better. Everything's good so far, right? Okay. That 3 has placed a 3 over down here. Made these a 4, 5 / pink. These aren't 5 because of that pair down there. No 2s, no 3. This is a 7 because there's a 7 looking up here and 7 can't go there. Which places a 7 there, places an 8, 9, 3 up there. Let's see, 8, 1, 9, 7 down there. 5 there. I haven't screwed up anything, right? 1, 8 there looking across. So this is not a 1. These aren't 1 either. These seem not to be 5 anymore. That's a 6, 9 pair in the row. So these aren't 6 or 9. They're 3 and 7. Let's see. These are some digits. This one's only a 1 or an 8. Or is. The rest of them are 1, 8, and the other one that's missing from the box, which is 4. Okay, can't have a 1, 4 next to a 1, 4, so that's an 8. Okay, these are 9. It's an 8. These are not 3. That one's not 9. That one's not a 1. These I should probably write in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 1, 3, 6. Okay, this one just is a 6. Okay, 6 does not go next to 4. For what it's worth. 4 and 1 don't go next to each other, so they're sort of like kitty crossed to each other, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how useful that is right away. Maybe we'll fill in these triples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. No 3 there, no 3 there. 3 there, 7, 3. Okay, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Except this one's not 1 or 9, and it's not 3 or 8. So this one's only 4 or 5. It's not 3. I was hoping that this one was going to be a little bit more interesting. Okay, well, there's a 4-5 pair in the columns. That one's not a 5. It's a 1 or a 6. Oh, 1 can't go next to 4 or 9. That's cute. So that's a 1. So that makes that a 9. 6 doesn't go next to 4. 6 and 9. Okay, 4 doesn't go next to 1. Okay, everything's good. 1, 3, 9 running down this column. That one's only a 9 of those. That makes that a 9. 4, 5, 8, and the other thing. 7, it looks like. These are 2 and 6, it looks like. Okay, now we get to play the which negative constraint is Zeta missing? The 9 can't go next to the 1. And now the 1 can't go next to the 4. Okay, the cursed music finally ends as the last instrument of the orchestra crashes to the ground in pieces. Now for some answers, you address the cowed musicians. Who was that? What was the ritual she spoke of? That's the Countess, good sir. The Countess Circe. She organizes the constraints through the castle, the trumpeter trumpets. She also manages the ledger, the flautist pipes up. We'll be strung up for this for sure, the bassist drones. And the ritual? The musicians look amongst themselves before one says, We don't know. All I know is the higher-ups have been looking forward to it for a long time now, and it's supposed to be just before midnight tonight. The orchestra conductor removes his jacket and hands it to you. The orchestral bylaws state that as you have defeated us in combat, even if in a strange Sudoku-based combat, I must give you my jacket. You'll need it if you intend to stop the ritual in time. You got the dashing doublet. A pinched bridge between two cells indicates that the value in one of those cells is double the value in the other. Enter 6 into the boss cell in Sudokuvania. Okay, that is a 6. Okay, a pinched bridge between two cells. Do I have a picture of what a pinched bridge looks like? This is there we go. Okay, this kind, okay. All right, well, that is going to be it for today's episode, having beaten that boss. But thank you all for watching, and we'll be back in not too long with more Sudokuvania. So thank you all for watching. Please like the video, and we'll be back soon. Bye for now.